everybody, it's Franny.
This is Heidi.
And we are live streaming. So we had a few technical difficulties there. Sorry about that.
Bad echo right now, so we need to turn something off. Give us just a second. We could not set this up last night. We have crazy weather. Sorry about the echo. We have something else turned on that we need to turn off. So bear with us while we get through this. I think there's something still turned on the.
Maybe
it's just this. Keep talking.
I think it's probably fine.
I think it was my cell phone.
Oh, okay. Is this your cell phone? Okay.
It sounds echoey. Here, I'll let you listen.
Okay. So it's a little. It might be a little echoey, but it's not too bad. It's just actually delayed through this. So I think we're fine. Okay. Let's see. So,
give you a minute. I have to actually ban the cell phone.
No, that's fine. Just leave it there.
Okay.
Okay. So, super sorry for all the crazy up front here. YouTube changed a little bit of their interface as well, and our key got messed up, and blah blah blah. Anyway, so we're live again, and we are going to work on the Mini today. We're going to do a quick little transmission oil change thing. I didn't like the transmission oil that I put in the Mini, and so I'm going to put some red line in it. One of our viewers actually suggested that we should use the red line and it'll help it shift a little bit better. And I didn't like the way it was when I did it last time. It was kind of notchy and kind of horrible. So we're going to do that today. Please go ahead and sign in if you would, and let us know that you're there, just to let us know if we've got a good connection and everything looks good. We're monitoring on Heidi's cell phone, and it looks like it's flowing through, but feel free to just kind of throw up, log in or sign in and say hello in the chat thing, and just let us know that you're watching and everything sounds okay. So we're going to wait a little bit. We'll just sort of talk to you a bit as we get things going here.
Yeah, it's been a little crazy lately. We've literally been trying to get plants in the ground and crazy stuff outside, and trying to work this stuff in and the car stuff and lots of stuff.
Weird, so. And you might hear a little bit of roar outside. We probably have 35 or 40 mile/hour winds outside as well. It's typical for us in the springtime, so garage doors are shut, but you might hear a little banging and things. So,
Why am I not seeing anybody in the shot window?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that the old shot window since we have the old stream, or?
I'm not actually seeing this come up. So let me see if we are live. Streamhouse is live.
We have some people online.
Oh, there we are. Okay, so we had the wrong stupid chat thing up. So, oh my God, when you schedule these things, it's kind of weird. So we apologize for that. There's our stream health and everything. I'm going to pop this. I'm going to close this because this is wrong.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, no, that's super
wrong window.
So,
sorry, guys.
Sorry about that.
We have
Rod and
okay, so how, is it, it's F-R-E-E-R-K. You guys, you need to send me the pronunciation of your name. I would say it's Ferk.
Ferk?
Ferk. I've even asked my friend from Sweden, and he hadn't heard your name before, so we don't know how to say it. I want to say it correctly, but I'm so glad that you're with us. It's about what time is it there? About 4 in the afternoon, maybe? 4 or 5?
Just a little bit big. So how do I say? That's a good question.
Okay, so if you don't know this already, and I'll probably repeat this again later in the live stream, but we now have a website, the Heidi and Franny's Garage.com website, and you can send us messages.
Yeah. Is in Frisian, a minority language. Oh, okay. All right. Well, let me ask you this. If I say Ferk, is that correct, or am I completely off? Ferk? Ferk? So just let me know if that's completely wrong, or
we're just doing the whole, like, this makes us look like lame Americans.
Yeah, well, we are. So, at any rate, we super apologize for butchering your name.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll just sort of talk amongst ourselves here a little
That's
bit.
not right.
No, that's not.
Neither one of us pronounced it right.
Sorry about that. So apologize.
You did a better job last time.
Oh, okay. Fair?
Fur?
Fair?
Fur?
Fair? What did we do last time?
I don't remember.
Okay. Well, so let's see. Why don't we talk a little bit about what's going on with the channel and what we're doing?
Sure.
And so I've been pumping out a few videos for work on the cars, and I did those struts and things for a lot of the boot and bonnet struts and things for the cars. And I know that's probably getting a little bit old watching the same video over and over and over. So I think we're kind of through all of that. I have some work to do on the turbo. The lower control arm has gone wonky on that car, so I'm going to be swapping that out. We have a new part for that. Let's see, what else? Oh, we got something super special going on this afternoon, don't we? Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
It's kind of a surprise, isn't it?
Is it? Well, you can talk around it a little bit.
Well,
can't you?
we're going to a friend that we met through the Porsche Club of America, and we're going to his, what do you call it, his office or his...
Garage or something, I don't know.
It's not really his personal garage, but he has a few really nice cars.
Yeah, so he's invited us to take a look at his cars. So we're going to figure out a way to put together some kind of fun episodes around that. So that'll be kind of cool. So that's more car compare-y kind of review-y stuff coming up.
So super exciting. Oh,
Yeah.
we've got some more people online.
Oh, we
So
do.
we have Rod and Fruit and Matthew Silver.
Yay! Okay, great. Well, good morning, everyone.
Probably has some other
here.
people that aren't online. I mean, not typing, but
Right, right. So we've been frantically setting everything up this morning. It was supposed to rain overnight, and
Right.
normally we push a car out of the bay, and I didn't want to leave it out in the rain. So, and of course, it didn't rain. But
rain/snow. It's
snow
still
or
cold
something.
here.
It's just, yeah, that's kind of crazy. We have very crazy weather in the
Well, we have
springtime.
crazy winds, so if you want to really damage the paint jobs of the car, you leave them sitting out.
So yeah,
So
it can get kind of nutty.
They're getting damaged right now.
Yeah, it's just so windy out.
Yeah.
But let's see what else. What else is coming up? Trying to think, I've got a few.
Well,
other
it's
things coming up.
driving season. I mean, really,
Yes.
April is the beginning of the driving season. So we really, I mean, it's just amazing. Like literally, as soon as April came around,
Yep.
like there's stuff every weekend again. So.
Right, our April is completely booked with all sorts of things going on. So there's a drive down to, remember our video where we drove down to Edelweiss? That's actually coming up in a couple of weeks as well. I'm not sure if we'll make that drive or not, but that's coming up in a couple of weeks. So the drive season has started, and so that is cranking up as well. And we just have a ton of stuff coming on.
So let me go back to the audio and visual. How is the audio sounding? Because it's echoey for me because I'm hearing the delay through the headphones, but I want to make sure that it sounds better than our first live stream and closer to the second live stream. And Fruk, I know you were on briefly, so can you tell me, does it sound closer to the second, or is it bad like the first one was?
Yeah, so let us know if the video and the audio are synced up, if they look good. This particular scene will probably be the most off on the video. Setting this whole system up is a little daunting, and getting the cameras lined up with the audio is also another difficult thing.
Okay,
so it sounds great. Super awesome.
Okay,
Oh,
I just
that's
to make
good.
sure there's no echoey bad, you're not going to want to watch it because it makes you want to throw up.
Yeah, right.
So-
Get Lizzie from it.
Right.
So, Barrett, you saw a nice 964. Oh, that's sweet. Yep. In fact, I drove. What is the?
The audio does have a little echo.
It does have a little echo to it. But
So,
not bad.
I think
Okay.
there was one camera that needed to be turned off. I just want to make sure that we didn't keep that on right now.
No, they should all be off. It's just because we're so close. I think it'll be better when we're a little further away. So when I'm over there, I think it'll be less echoey.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, we'll see. But Yeah, so I drove the 3.2 Carrera. Did I drive that to work the other day? Didn't. Did I? Yes. No. I didn't. We had some work done. We had some work done on the Mini. I'm kind of
Oh,
confused.
remember what I did yesterday?
So we had a little work done on the Mini. We had that paint work done on the Mini, so it was out of commission for a little bit. Oh, hi, Dwayne.
As Spanish?
You know,
Like,
yeah,
really?
you know. He's pulling me. Yeah, that's funny. So I hope you're well. I hope you're well. CC. Yeah. Yeah, we should come through in German, but oh well.
My Deutsch ist nicht gut.
Yeah, my Deutsch ist nicht gut.
That's about all I could say. Is my German is not good. Cool.
All right. Well, is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Do you guys have any questions before we get started?
Yeah.
I know that sometimes you guys may not want to stay for the do-it-yourself part. So, do you have questions for us? I mean, we usually get started about 9:30, so it's 9:15. Do you guys have any other, like, just gotta know? I do. Once again, now that there's more of you on, I do want to mention that we did push live our Heidi and Franny's garage. Heidi and Franny's garage. You have to type all those in .com.
Yep.
And you can send us messages there. So if you want to get a hold of us, you can certainly send a message. Please sign up for the email list. You know, obviously YouTube is our main platform right now, but if we have an email list, if we ever, for some reason, something crazy happens, we have a way to get in touch with you. We have some really basic t-shirts. We can do other designs if you have some. So there's t-shirts for Heidi and Franny's garage now. There's some sweatshirts. I'm trying to think of what else is there. So
Do you have any stickers?
we haven't done the stickers
I
yet.
haven't done the stickers yet.
Sorry.
We're trying to get there.
Yeah,
So
the stickers are on the list, but it was a little bit easier to do the whole t-shirt thing because there's a way to do it, and the stickers are a little more complicated, but we will get there.
yeah, we'll get there.
So
we're not trying to push any merch.
No,
Actually,
no, absolutely not.
we did it because we
People
need
have-
stuff to wear in the
Right.
garage and everything. That's really why we did it.
Franny's
So-
got like holes.
Oh, I
in
have
her
holes in my elbows and everything. So
We're trying to get
Yep,
all that stuff
yep.
worked out.
so
So what else is on? You know, there's upcoming events. So like, if we are going to have a subscriber meetup at some point, we'll put that on the website. Trying to think of what else. So like, Ava's going to be at the Concourse Elegance. So anybody that's local here will be there. Okay, so we have some questions coming through. Do you use a particular tire pressure gauge in your?
Oh yeah, let me go get it.
Well, we do, and then we also do we
I'll go
have
get
it in the cars, like in the glove
Yeah, we
box?
did the kind of crappy ones in the cars,
We have-
but I like this one.
Kind of crappy ones in our glove box of our cars too. So like little tire pressure gauge, but Franny is really
It's an
nice.
easy way to do it.
Yeah.
So we were at an event and I picked up one of these guys, which is really nice. It's let me see what.
How do you know
what
it's
is
a
it?
guy?
I don't. I'm trying to think. What's it? Barely long.
Here.
Longa Ace or Cease or something. I don't know. It's kind of a, but it looks like this guy here, and this swivels, which is really nice. And then you've got, of course, your blow-off valve down here if your pressure is too high. And I like this. I can hold it up while I'm, down, checking the air pressure. And it's rubber around the edge here, so it won't mar anything, which is kind of nice. The tube is awfully stiff. That's my only thing. So I have one for my air compressor as well, but I think it has the little guy that comes out on it, the little extended guy, and you can read off the actual pressure on it. But it's not very accurate at all. This one's actually quite a bit more accurate, and it reads from 5 to 60 psi. So let me see if I can get that a little bit closer. Whoops, it's all backwards. Okay, so there's some glare, but that's what it is. And so yeah, I really like this guy. It works great for checking pressures.
So somebody was asking about the URL.
Oh.
So, yeah, it probably has it locked. I wonder if I can type it in.
Can you say something? Yeah,
I think
you
I can. Let me see if I can type it in. Heidi and Franny's, it's a long name, .com. So there is the
so hopefully
URL
you can
for
see
those
that.
of you.
Yep.
And for those of you who may be watching this later, it's Heidi and Franny's with an S, garage.com.
Okay, great. Woo! All right.
So that's helpful, and that way you guys can get a hold of us if you need to. Send us an email, and we can chat.
Yeah. So going back to tools, maybe a little discussion about tools. You've probably seen a lot of my tools, a lot of sort of the occasional use tools come from someplace like Harbor Freight, which is just a low cost. Actually, their tools are quite good, and their only problem is really accuracy. But they're guaranteed for life, and if they break, I broke a torque wrench, for instance. It just as soon as I put any torque on it, it just snapped. I took it back, they just gave me a new one. So that's kind of cool. If I need something that needs to be accurate, like a gauge, like the tire pressure gauge, or if I've got some hex tools or something that absolutely have to be accurate, then I go buy a decent set of those things. But I mean, how much money do you really want to spend on your ratchets and things? And you can spend so much money on tools that it's just that you can just I can't have a whole snap-on garage. I need a zillion different little things. And they have like really great little ratchety wrenches and stuff that would be very expensive if you bought them at a decent tool manufacturer. So I have a bit of that. I have a small air compressor, one of the little pancake ones, which on the episode that I just did.
I'm not laughing at you, Franny. I'm laughing at the crazy wind.
Oh,
it's unbelievably crazy right now.
I don't know if you can hear it, but it's blowing like crazy out there.
So.
But when I was cutting out that bracket for the 911 that I did in the last episode, I had to use my crappy little air compressor, and it didn't work. I ended up using the Dremel. I went back and forth a bunch. So yeah, I could use some updates and some tools, but for the most part, I don't know, they seem to work. So that's my thing on tools. All right. Well, do you want to?
Any more questions, or should we get started?
Yeah. If there's any more questions. And of course, Heidi's going to be monitoring all this, so if there's questions, she'll just call them out, and we'll answer them.
You can do it like last time. Can I hear the wind?
I can hear the wind.
Oh, you can hear it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It is.
We get serious like hurricane winds.
We do, yeah.
And it's more like December through March, so I'm kind of surprised that we have it in April.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy windy.
It's a little scary.
Our poor cars that are outside are getting beat up right now.
So we had so we have two garage doors. One of them is a 8-foot, and the other one's a 16-foot. And the 16-foot garage door, right after we moved in, bent in half from the wind one day. So yeah, it's a little nutty. So
we've had a tree break in half.
Yeah.
Some of our newly planted trees. It's
people's trampolines go over the top of their house.
It was funny because Franny's brother lives in Florida, and he was out visiting once, and they're all, contact us during the hurricanes, and we're like, that's nothing. We do that all the time.
Would you get 40 mile per hour winds?
He actually came to visit us once, and he's like, oh, you weren't kidding.
Yeah.
He had been through the hurricane.
So. Do you still have those scooters? Yes, we do. We have both of them. We need to do oil change, filter change, and the carburetor on the cream one is a little gummy, so it'll run, but then it's hard to get it going. So what I'm gonna do an episode, and we'll go through both scooters, and they need new batteries too.
Right.
So we'll put batteries in them, do an oil change, filter change, and then I'll clean the carburetor, and they should be good to go. But it's cold here a lot of the year, so.
We have lots of questions now.
Oh, okay, do we?
Okay, so hi Nick. Nick is online. Nick, I don't remember your last name, but I'm not going to say it online anyway. From the other Nick from Connecticut.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have Edmund Garcia. So you should do a video with Nick Murray. Yeah.
Oh, we've talked to him a bit about that.
Last time briefly, right?
Yeah, we need to get him. We need to get him out here. So.
Right. No, Matthew, to answer your question, there are 70 cc's. So Dwayne was asking about car insurance. Is it expensive? Yes, it is.
No, they're not 70. They're 150. The Vespas are 150s.
Oh, I thought he was asking.
Yeah, they're 4-stroke 150s. Yep. The Vespas are. The Passport, the Honda Passport is 70 cc's.
Right.
It's a CT70. Yeah.
He's there.
So.
Jack. beat me on the yellow car comment.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not going to change. That yellow car is always going to be up there, so if Nick gets on, he can throw up. So,
going to put a new clutch in a 356B. Any tips? Yes, I actually do have some tips. So let me talk about that for a second. We went round and round. So Ava's actually above us right now, which is hilarious. So we went round and round on the clutch. The clutch was pretty destroyed when we picked up the car. It worked, but it wouldn't disengage, and you can always tell you can't get it in reverse, it'll crunch. So I did a bunch of research, and right in your car would definitely have the Hasselmann clutch. Is that right? The one with the little tines on it, looks like a pie plate clutch. That's what you would have on your car for a 62.
ours was a spring.
Well, that's the thing. And so 58, it was questionable as to which clutch it had. And I put a spring type clutch in it. And there's got 3 arms that kind of come out like this on it. And there's little springs to keep those arms up. And they all just broke. And the whole thing was a mess. It was cracked. So I put Hasselmann in this so as a third clutch.
Yeah, we went through several.
Yeah, and it's been great. It's been really good. Be careful not to get, well, you'll have a 200 millimeter flywheel, so I don't think you'll be able to get it.
It was vibrating when we were stepping on the gas.
There was all sorts of problems. So your pressure plate should also have the springs in it as well. You want that. If you get a race clutch that doesn't have it, it'll judder every time you set off. So you don't want that. So yeah, make sure you, and I just got a kit from Sierra Madre, I think is where I got it from, and it was awesome. And then go ahead and replace might as well while you're at it, go ahead and replace your throwout bearing as well, and check your clutch cable. If your clutch cable is the least bit goofy, because you have to pull the engine, and so that makes a lot of that stuff a little more accessible. Mm-hmm. So, and one more thing is, if you're going to have all that apart, if you haven't done it recently, pull the bushing that the starter motor shaft goes into and replace that as well. You can just use a little socket and just push it out and get a new one of those and press that in. Lube that up really well, and you won't have any starter issues either. So
right.
That's one thing on clutches.
Believe it or not, I think Harbor Freight, if you have a Harbor Freight near you, they, and we're not being sponsored by Harbor Freight by any means. We just mentioned them a couple times in the stream. But I believe they have engine stand holders if you want to do that, if you're not going to be able to get it done all at the same time. But you definitely need probably 2 to 3 people to manipulate.
No, not so much. Harbor Freight, once again, sells, and you can get them in other places. There's a motorcycle jack that works really, really well, and it's designed just to lift a motorcycle, but it's got 2 rails on it, and they fit just on each side on the engine, and they support the bottom of the, it's perfect. They couldn't have made this thing more perfect. It was like $80 or something, and it's hydraulic, and so we use the lifts, and so you lower it down, and you can lift it up with this motorcycle jack, get all the pressure off of it, get your bolts off, and it's got wheels on it, so just slide it back. None of this teetering on a jack like you normally would, and that's so scary when this thing's wobbling back and forth. So that thing was awesome, and I'll have to take a picture of it or something. I'll put it in an episode at some point. It's actually sitting underneath the boat right now.
Or send us your email. Just send it to
the
website.
Yeah. And I'll send you some pictures and
send you some photos.
Yeah, if you want any help with that. So yeah, that was a good point on the lift.
Okay. Do we have other questions before we're at 28 after? So
Nick says the website looks great.
Merchandise,
Yay.
good.
Okay.
I actually ordered one of the shirts because I haven't seen them. I just put them together online, but it's not here yet. I was going to wear it today if it was here, and it's not here yet. So
Oh, you already have the Harbor Freight engine stand. Okay, yeah. Check out that motorcycle stand and see if you can find it. It was on sale one day. Look for it. It's got two rubber rails on it. Awesome. And then once you get it jacked up, you can even leave the engine. You don't really need to put it on a stand, because once you jack it up, you can pin that thing so it won't come back down again. And I just worked on it that way. It was awesome. So unless you need to get it up off the ground, you're going to crack the case and all that. Perfect for just doing clutch.
I have to give Jack some grief. He said, "Took me all morning the next day to clean my fingernails. Yuck." So he always people are always laughing at Franny and her blue gloves.
Yeah, and so
That's
my
one of the
fingernails
reasons
are
why.
clean, but well, actually my fingers are fairly sensitive to chemicals and things, so I have to. In fact, just gardening yesterday, they were already sort of a mess.
Cleaner
So
and all these other things.
yeah, it's so rough. So I just have to keep that stuff off my fingers so they kind of go nuts.
So I think we're gonna get started unless you guys have other questions for Franny before she gets over underneath the Mini, and then maybe some of you can give us feedback on if you can see okay or not. This is always a little different depending on which car, but this time she's underneath the car instead of next to the car.
Right, that's true. So yeah, so it's ain't nothing but something to do. Right. So it's just silly. So we're just gonna once again we're gonna swap out the transmission oil on the Mini.
You want to explain why though?
Yeah. So I did an episode on swapping out it takes like 10 minutes to swap out the transmission oil on a Mini. It's super easy. It's just same as almost all of these transmissions. You pull the fill plug, you pull the drain plug, boom, and it drains out, and you put them back in and fill it up. Super simple. No filters or anything. Now I did that because I had done the shaft, the half shaft, and when I did, I used some Valvoline synthetic. It was the right stuff for the car, but I don't like it. It's notchy, and we were saying something about that, I think. And one of our viewers, I don't remember who it was. Do you remember?
Oh.
Anyway, wrote in and said,
we'll try it.
Have you tried Redline?
So sorry, unknown viewer, we're recognizing you now.
Yeah. So if you're on the live stream, let us know. But
right,
so said, have you tried the Redline?
Right.
And it's got the correct specs for the Mini and everything. So he said it's super awesome and it'll go into gear.
We'll have to give you feedback later on if maybe something we'll post later on in Instagram or something. And
so that's all I'm doing this morning.
For those of you who haven't checked out Instagram, for the most part, we're getting to be better at posting on Instagram too. So there's activity going on during the week if we are not putting out videos. So subscribe to Instagram. It's what, Heidi and Franny? I don't know.
We need to be better at this. Just do a search for Heidi and Franny's garage and you should find it.
Right. So. Well, and it should be. I think every one of our descriptions should have the link now, so you can click on the links under our description. But we have Twitter and some other ones, but Twitter's uncertain. Yeah, if it's
okay. I'll be right back.
So Instagram regularly, obviously YouTube regularly. At some point we might move our live stream to Twitch. That's becoming a thing now. So we may not be live streaming on YouTube.
Or at least do both.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is one.
Okay, let me, do you want people to go ahead and I can switch it over so we can see what Franny's doing.
Okay, so the light's a little scary, but it needs to be kind of bright. Let's see, where are we? And I've got this, so...
okay, I couldn't hear you for a second. I can hear you now.
You can hear me now? Okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
What do you guys think of the audio now? Is it okay? Still echoey?
Boy, that wind. Okay. So, all right, Heidi, why don't we kind of get started here?
I think I know what's going on. You've got the microphone on that one. It needs to be turned off. Is that right?
It shouldn't be. I can't turn it off. You have to actually turn it off.
I think that's why we have the echo. Sorry, you guys. Like I said, we didn't have a chance to run through this last night, so...
You can just, the G85, if the mic is on, you can just turn it off on the right side of the console.
It's not the G85.
I mean, the Sony, pardon me, the Sony, my bad. Oh, look at that. So we can kind of see up in there, huh? Okay. How is that?
I can see paper towels.
Okay, can you see up at the top here? No?
Hold on.
Up here is our plug.
I'm using, it's on, let me just deal with the mic for a minute.
Okay. All right, well, I'm going to set this back down. I actually need to get some gloves I thought I had.
Bear with us, you guys. I just got to get rid of the microphone on this Sony. do I do the audio device here?
It's blood. It's off.
Okay.
The sun's
Well,
off, so that's it. So it's not on. I thought we had that all set up, so okay.
Let's put all 3 cameras on.
All right. This is a little weird, huh? Getting all set up. All right.
Franny sounds good. That's great. Hey, John, how you doing?
Okay, so our plugs here. Can you see what I'm seeing, Heidi? Hopefully.
And so you're using, let me go ahead and switch it to...
I've got the Sony here. It's a little occluded, but I'm just going to be popping these plugs loose. Are you good? Can you see?
It's really weak. You know what? Never mind.
It's just
We've
windy.
got them reversed. It's saying the G85.
Okay.
And that's what the problem was. You were like, I've got the Sony. I'll just have to remember that they're reversed.
Okay.
The other voice switch.
All right. Well, here can we move on? We good?
Yep.
Okay.
See that?
So this is our drain plug here. This one right here, and then up here is our fill plug. Try to get a little light up there. A little hard to see. And so I'm going to be cracking this loose, and then when that's loose, I can even take it out, I suppose. And then I'll crack this one loose and start draining some fluid, and we'll kind of get started with all this.
Hey, Franny.
Yes.
Because their source or switch, do I have the wrong mic off for the Sony?
Not if they can hear you, we're good. We should be fine. All right, move this out of the way, and
How many miles are on the Mini? I think about
good question.
30,000, I believe.
Is it that many already?
Yeah, it was at 25 when it. I remember we were kind of bummed at 25,000 when it got messed up. Deal with the axle.
All right, let's see if I can.
Hearing a lot of. I think that's the only mic that's working right now. Because we have the camera cords reversed. Should we?
So, camera cord's reversed. I don't.
It's saying that that's the G85 when it's the Sony.
Okay, well then they wouldn't be able to hear you if that was the case because you're not plugged into the Sony. So, do you want me to go? Do you want me to sit?
Testing.
Yeah, it's working. Okay. Can we just continue?
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
continue. Sorry, guys.
All right. Okay, can you see what you need to see? Can you see me and can you see the everything up here? Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to start by cracking these guys loose. So, they shouldn't have been tight. Nope, not very tight at all. Okay, good. All right, and you can get a little dribble up here on these things when you take them off because we warmed the car up first. So that was the first step, was take the car out. Heidi drove it around the neighborhood a bit and then brought it back. We put it up on the lift. And so we've been talking, so it's been cooling down a little bit, but it's not too bad. But that will cause the fluid to expand a little bit as well. So don't be surprised if you loosen up your fill plug and you get a little dribble out of it. That's normal. All right. And then loosen this one up. There we go. That's the drain plug. And then, see how I'm going to do this. I probably have to move you back a little bit so you can see what's going on. So once I pull this, let's see. All right. Does that work? Okay. Pull this guy back. It's a little dark up here, huh? It's not super exciting. All I'm going to be doing is just pulling the drain plug here. So maybe I can do that with two hands. There we go. Can you see that? Now, These drain plugs always drives me crazy that they put them on the side, because this fluid's going to come out in a heck of an arc. So you want to make sure that your container is a little off center. It always makes a fuss. Alright, and another thing to notice, which is weird, there's no crush washer on this plug. I don't know why they don't have one. Alright, here we go. Always exciting. Remember to move your container over a little bit as it comes back. There we go. So this is the bit on the video that I always fast forward through, because how exciting is it to watch fluid, you know, draining out of a car? Right? So there it goes. It looks good. It doesn't look like it's a bad color or anything. It looks exactly like it did when it went in. It doesn't have many miles on it at all. I bet you what, we have maybe 300 or 400 miles on this fluid. But like I said, it just doesn't, I don't like it. It's real notchy. When the car's cold, it's really hard to get into gear.
So John says my mic is very faint. I can hear it when I'm talking through it, but it might have something to do with the fact that we may have the cord to reverse.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'll try to talk loud, John.
Yeah, you're just going to have to speak up. So that's really strange then. I wonder how that got switched. So I'll have to figure that out. So sorry about that. These live streams are technically kind of difficult. There's not a lot of, it's hard to set up, and the feedback is a little bit difficult.
That's Jerry's first one. So, okay, so another thing is, yeah, John, I don't know if Franny did mention that, she did run, well, actually, I did. I ran the car around to warm it up this morning, so along with all the other technical stuff we're trying to set up, I had to take the car on a quick run. So it was nice and warm so that the fluid would flow out pretty easily.
Yep. And so this is just going to drain for a little bit.
The fluid should look clean.
Yeah.
You know, really, I don't even know how many miles. Probably
like I said, a couple hundred miles.
At the very most. And
no,
so
I just did it. There's no way it's 5,000 miles. We just did it.
It was less than that,
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's a few hundred miles, the most.
We're just hoping that this fixes the notchiness that we're getting.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. So while that's draining, let me show you the fluid we're going to be actually putting in the car. So this is Redline from one of our viewers suggested this. Use the MTL full synthetic gear oil. It's a GL4 high performance lubricant, which is kind of nice. Comes in a gallon. I think we got it off of Amazon and had it shipped. That just makes it a lot easier. So the mini spec is right here. It's manual transmission fluid 94. So they've got a BMW spec, so that's not a huge surprise with the mini crossover there. And Saab, so that's probably for newer Saabs, I would think. So John, if you're looking for something for your Saab.
Well, newer, how much newer?
I don't know. I don't know what the 0063 is. But supposedly this is high performance, it says, and somewhere around it's talking about eliminates the notchiness and all that sort of stuff. Eliminates notchy shifts in cold and warm weather, low fluid friction. So I want to give this a try, and if it works out really well, then the 993 might end up getting it. And if that works out, then I might even think about putting it in the 3.2 Carrera, although I think the 3.2 shifts pretty well. The 3.2 Carrera is got an old 915 transmission in it, and it's crunchy to start with, but it would be nice to have it shift a little bit easier. Sometimes it can be difficult to get into second gear, but that's just that transmission. So how are we doing up here?
Hi.
So it looks like we're not going to get much fluid out of this. So why don't I go ahead and at this point, this is going to be very quick. So I'll go ahead and get this guy back in again.
So those of you who are just joining us, the kind of crazy sounds in the background, we have a pretty good windstorm going this morning, which one is a little unusual for April, and also it's kind of unusual to have it on a day that's not trash day. Normally we get it on trash day.
All right.
So anyway, it's kind of windy right now, and you know, so if you're hearing some strange noises, that's why. It's the wind is hitting our garage door.
Okay, can you see that pretty well, Heidi? That look good?
I think that one view is better.
Okay,
I mean,
this
it's
plug here?
View, so,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Best.
So the torque spec for this thing is 25 Newton meters, and that's about 18 or 19 pound feet of torque. Boy, I get that backwards every time. So let's see. So I have my torque wrench here. I'm going to go ahead and torque that down just so I don't forget. And I've already set it to, what did I set it to? I just want to double check. Yep, it's set to about 18. Yeah, about 18. It's amazing. It's not much torque at all. In fact, I'm not sure I want to check my other torque wrench as well. I did take my torque wrenches, and you know, I have that, oh, let me show you. I'm going to click this little, electronic torque wrench that I use a bunch, and I went and I locked it down on a vise actually, and set this to like 20, 30, 50, 90 pound feet, and then fired this guy up to see how close I was, and it was within 1 pound-foot is what I found pretty much across the range. So that's pretty close, I think. Yeah, that's it. It's just not very tight. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now, next step is just to fill it back up. That's going to take forever. So we pull our fill plug out from the top. Fill, like the groundhog fill. Fill, like the groundhog fill. Okay, so just pull our plug out.
Jack, you would sleep in the garage if it was warm. It's really cold in here right now.
It's not too bad. It's probably like, what, 50 degrees or something? All right, so that's our drain plug. It's just an aluminum plug, but it's so funny that they don't have a crush washer on this. I think that's kind of funny, but whatever, I guess. Okay, fine. All right, so we just fill it until it starts to dribble out the sides. Super duper simple. And I like this pump, but it does take forever to pump these things. So, and then you end up having to sort of hold it up there as well. It's maybe not the best system in the world. What would be really nice would be to pressurize it. So I've seen some of those setups, and those are pretty cool. I don't want to trip over everything here. So how did they do this before? I think I held it up like this. And held it in maybe, I don't remember. At any rate, well, here, I can do it this way. There we go. It takes a little over 2 quarts, if I remember correctly. So, in the pump, you don't want to go too awfully fast with it. It doesn't seem to work properly if you do. And in theory, the bottle should be getting lighter, because this is like a whole gallon. It's kind of heavy, actually. I'm going to work out for the day. Oh, easy there, kiddo. This is pretty boring. Any questions, Heidi?
Me? Well,
Yeah.
any more? No, not really.
No? Okay.
No questions.
Sorry, this is kind of boring. I thought this would be kind of fun, but it is a little boring, huh? This is, of course, the bit that I cut out when we actually edit the videos.
Right.
I can definitely tell this thing's getting lighter. I probably could have brought the Mini down a notch, too. Little dead air. Heidi, do you have anything you want to talk about the channel at all, or?
Hold on, we have some stuff coming through.
Oh, good.
I'm still waiting for her arm to get tired.
It is. It's getting really close.
Did the pump come with the fluid?
No, it's actually a separate piece, but I bought it at you can get them at any auto parts store. Mm-hmm. And if you're not going to do this very often, it's not a big deal, but I think you can get some that you hook compressed air to. Definitely getting a lot lighter. So.
Jack wants you to change the 996 water pump.
Oh, that's right, because did he say that, was it Jack? Somebody said they were off to do that with their son. Was that Jack? I think that's right.
I thought that was,
It might be different. I wonder if the water pump's different on a turbo. It must be different on a turbo. I'll bet you it is.
Yep, it was Jack.
Okay, I thought so. Oh my God. Okay, so I'm going to take a little break because it's falling apart. I think I'm pretty close, actually.
You know, the funny thing is that
Oof.
we were all doing
Holy cow.
so much yard labor yesterday that we're all really sore.
Yeah, my arms. I was cleaning the pond yesterday, so we have a pond out back, and I have a pond vacuum cleaner. It's just like a big shop vac for a pond, and I was in my waders. The water's like 40 degrees, and I'm out there vacuuming and vacuuming and vacuuming, so my shoulders are a little sore. I don't have much strength anyways, but all right. I think we're almost there, so.
Well, Jack, somebody wanted us to do the 996's spark plugs, so we got them, and I had ordered them, and then I was going through the records of the 996 when I put together the financials and noticed that they had done the spark plugs at 30,000 miles, so I'm not sure if we can do spark plugs.
Wow, this thing takes a lot of fluid. Should be pretty close at this point. There's not that much left in here.
Transmission fluid workout.
Oh my gosh. I have to stop again because my arm's just shaking.
Do you need me to help?
No, I'm good. I'm just gonna stretch it out. I think muscles work better if they get blood.
Yeah.
They seem to be happier. Except if they're cramped up like that.
It's that over the head thing that
It is.
hurts you.
It is. It's always a joy. That, and I'm lifting the bottle every time. So, but it does have a little bit of a red cast to it, this stuff. It's sort of slightly pink color. So it would look a little different too if you were going to drain it out. All right, up you go. Yeah, you're going to come out on my head. Oh, there it goes. Okay, I think it's there. Yep, we got a little drippage out. Good. Okay, great. Okay, well that's that. Yay! Woo! Not a moment too soon. Open the cap on this real quick. Pedal all over the place. Okay, great. So, there's my rag. You can see it sort of dripping out there. That's what we want. Put our plug back in. And this is also the same torque spec. It's still 25 Newton meter. or about 18 pound-feet.
I still haven't gotten a pound-feet and foot-pounds.
Yeah, it's
That's me.
pound-feet of torque and foot-pounds of work. Guess how I know that?
That's from that other video.
That's from the other video. A little schmutz on the floor. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and torque. This guy.
I think you just need to come up with little songs now, Franny.
Little songs. Can you do a little song and dance routine?
Torque, 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 torque,
Torque,
torque.
torque, 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 torque.
Can you ask Franny about her
Here we go.
opinion about the 4-year spark plug change interval on the 996, 997? Is it really necessary? Well, if it's a 4-year interval, then we probably do need to do our spark plugs.
Well,
I
so
thought it was more like 60,000 miles.
so yeah, so spark plugs would be my miles. They don't degrade over time. So if you don't drive your car in 4 years, they'll look identical to when you put them in.
Right.
It's not like oil, so it's not like a fluid that's going to poop out on you. So here, let me torque this real quick before I forget. And gosh, it just doesn't take much force, does it? Okay, ping. Okay.
What did you drop?
Oh, I didn't. I just hit the drive shaft. So I would say on spark plugs. So in fact, I filmed a segment on doing the spark plugs on the 3.2 Carrera, and I don't even know if I'll see if I'll actually publish it. It's kind of a little bit boring, but I pulled them all out. So we had problems with that. It's an air bypass valve that's on that car, and it wasn't working properly. So on cold starts, it's for cold starts, and so on the cold starts, it would run a little goofy, and it was starting to sort of foul the plugs a little bit as well. And I also had another problem with the rear left spark plug, that the wire actually came off, so that was a problem. So then that one was all gummed up and kind of nasty as well. So I just decided to pull all 6 of them out, clean them, and then wash them out with some brake fluid cleaner, and then blow them out with a compressed air. And they looked brand new when I got done with them, and I put them all back in the car. So my thing on changing spark plugs is that there's not a huge reason to change them unless you actually see some wear on them. If you've got 60, 70,000 miles on the plugs and you pull them out and it's like, yeah, I can see a little pitting and stuff, then maybe it's time to replace them then. But I don't know. I mean, you'd have to drive the car. Well, what did they say, 12? So that would be, I don't know, 50,000 miles or so. And then I think it does depend on the engine. So if it's a high-powered engine and it's got a very high-energy ignition system, that's probably going to be a little rougher on the plugs, whereas like the 356, they almost never wear out, so unless they get too hot. So heat in the engine can have something to do with it as well. But I just clean them. So I pull them out. They're diagnostic tools. You pull them out, take a look at them, tell you what each cylinder is doing, and then, you know, just kind of look at them carefully, spin them around a little bit, and if they look good, you can just clean them and put them back in. I don't think it's really that difficult. And I don't think you have to really replace them every time either. So, all right. Well, I guess we're done under here. It's all torqued. The new fluid's in. See how easy that is? That's super simple. I don't know what a Mini would have charged for a job like this. Probably, what, maybe $100 or something? I don't know. And
Just to swap out the fluid?
yeah, because, you know, they're going to charge you for the fluid. They're going to charge you a shop time. Then they're going to charge you for, oh, well, we had some dirty rags, so we have to charge you like a shop disposal fee and everything. And this is just the easiest thing in the world. So it's a little silly to spend a huge amount of money at Mini getting that done. So I'm going to go ahead and move back to the console over here. I'll clean all the rest of this crap up later. But, right? So I don't need it. I mean, I got to. So you do have to dispose of your oil. So I have my oil container up here. That is one thing you have to do. I keep several of those gallon jugs that the oil comes in, and from various oil changes and things, and we fill them up, and we can take them to auto parts stores in our area. I have these grease and oil traps, and you can pour it in there, and it's free. So it is a little bit of a extra step that you have to go down and do that, but I don't know, it's not that big a deal really. So
Okay,
it's certainly worth
But
it.
if we do that, what do we do with the used oil? Because we've never, ever done anything crazy like that before.
What do you mean? If what do we do?
We ended up having some very bad old oil go into something that shouldn't have because we thought it was fresh oil.
Oh, that's a different story. Yeah, that was different. That was when I had a friend over and oil got swapped. I keep new oil inside and old oil outside, and so it got moved into. And as I was putting it in the car, I'm like, "This is the wrong stuff." So I ended up just having to drain it back out again. It wasn't the end of the world. So
Right.
okay,
But-
so I'm gonna move back over here. All right.
Just saying, if you take Franny's suggestion on that,
Just be careful about where you keep your
be
old
careful
food.
where you store it.
Yeah. All right. So that was pretty simple, huh? Wasn't very difficult, and doesn't really make a mess. So just remember that if the oil's coming out of the side of anything, that the Carreras are like that as well. They all have their oil coming out the side of the engine. So just make sure you offset your oil container.
Make sure you do the side. Is that the one where you have to do the side one?
Yeah,
first?
that one does. Yep, yep. So
Make sure you do the first, or the upper one
Yeah.
first.
the upper one first.
You don't drain your oil until you know that you can get everything
Oh, well,
on.
that's the transmissions. Yeah, so the transmissions always have the fill plugs on the side, so you always want to crack those loose first, because last thing you want is to not be able to get that thing off, and you've just drained all your fluids, and now your car's stuck where it is, and you're like, daggnabbit. So you would have rather have known that. That information would have been more useful like an hour ago.
Right.
So, yeah, so it's a simple thing, just an order thing. I think most
This
people
is
try
real
to do that.
quick, it's only 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
At
That's
least
pretty
10
much it.
o'clock in Colorado.
So do we-
And then
do we
we have
have
other
any-
people online that are not at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
So, yeah, do we have any other questions now that
Yeah.
we're wrapped up?
Yeah, we're kind of, that went really fast. So,
Yeah, check out the website if you haven't.
right, absolutely, and,
You can always contact us that way too.
right, and we have a couple of episodes
There's
coming up and things.
There's an email list I haven't really started using yet, but we'll eventually start using the email list as well.
Right, and so we'll add some more merch to the site. It's really not for that, it's really just for us more than anything else. So,
Just want to let you know about events. Just make sure you
Right,
check the
yeah.
website for upcoming events and that sort of thing.
yeah, and if there's, we do have some people that might be coming out. So this weekend, a good friend of ours from Austin,
Oh,
Daniel,
yeah.
is
you
going
guys
to be
know
out.
Daniel.
Yeah.
A lot of you know Daniel.
Yeah, so he's going to be out in Colorado. His brother lives out here and has a GT3, and they're going to run
Right.
it up and down Pikes Peak a bit.
I don't think we're going to do a collab with him this time, just because his time is so short.
His time's
But
really limited.
we'll probably do a collab with him in June.
Right.
So we'll let you know about those sort of things on the website too.
Yeah, that'll be fun. So
Yeah.
yeah, things like that, those sort of special eventy things, we'll go ahead and put up on the website so you can see. Hopefully we can at least see Daniel. We're hoping to. It'll be like next Sunday or something. I think he's going to be so busy.
We're like really good friends and we never met him.
Yeah, yeah, it's
It's
really fun
funny.
to meet all of you as well. You know, that's what's so
Tina.
cool about that. So
Give a bell.
we will. He's and he wants to. He's going to be coming back out. When is he coming back out?
Don't go, what am I going to do now? Make him ride in your Porsche. Yeah, so we do want to do that. It just depends on his schedule. He didn't, I mean, he talked to us after he booked his flight. So I was like, why didn't you stay longer?
Yeah. Well, and we'll see what he
He's
wants
got-
to do.
yeah.
If he wants to drive the Ferrari as well, because it's
Right.
that's got to be completely different than his F430.
And then I think Home Built by Jeff might be coming out too.
Yes.
That's
So
in,
if
right after Run Sport.
right, so
October.
if you know Home Built by Jeff, he's got a great channel.
Right.
He's in Australia,
Yeah.
and he is working on a Beetle.
It's working on
What's that,
something.
Nissan 240Z and Zet, I guess. 240. You gotta use the right
Two,
terminology.
and he's waiting on
Nissan 240Z, and then.
the engine is.
And then, oh, is the engine getting done on the
On the
911?
yeah,
So he has a
I think
911 as
so.
well. So, and his wife does a like little history thing, which is always
Right.
fun.
So hopefully she'll be coming out too. I think she is.
Yeah, she's adorable.
Yeah.
So, it'll be great. So we're really looking forward to that as well. That'll be kind of fun. So we'll definitely keep you.
Yeah, the yellow Porsche. You know, it's so funny. I laugh at the yellow Porsche thing because I don't think Nick likes yellow cars in general.
No, he hates yellow cars.
And
I actually like yellow cars.
Franny really wanted a yellow Boxster. I mean, that's
like this one back here. It's
right.
really, I like that.
She wanted a yellow Boxster.
I did. You know, it's funny. Porsche.
I'm not a big fan. I didn't really.
You
like
don't like the yellow?
No, I'm with Nick.
Oh, okay. Well, I think there's a few colors. Different car manufacturers do really well with different colors, I think. Mm-hmm. So I don't think anybody rocks red like a Ferrari. Nobody does. Yellow looks good on Lamborghini, Ferrari, and Porsche.
Right. So we considered a yellow like 355.
Yeah, no, that would be super sweet.
For our 355.
A Spider or something? Oh, it would be great.
Yeah, it has to be a Spider.
But Ferrari looks great in yellow, I think. Porsche looks good in yellow. I have to say that red is a tough color. It's a tough color for any manufacturer. And I don't think that Porsche looks as best as it could. And I think that's because of the nice smooth lines. When you've got more angular lines, the red has a tendency to sort of blend everything together and it looks a little blobby. More bright colors look better, I think, on smoother cars. Cream and yellows look wonderful on Porsches. I think they look great. And Ava, I think, is like the perfect color. So, and white seems to do well on Porsches as well. That's another hard color to get right. Most SUVs just don't look right well, I think they look great in silver.
Maybe looks fun in red. Yeah, I would agree.
The Mini does, yeah. They have a what's it called, chili red or something? Hot chili red.
Of them, yeah. That like pumpkin color too.
It's a little darker red, and so I think as the red gets a little darker, I think it does better.
Nice job on the live stream. Hopefully, I think we have a little bit of technical problems, Cheryl, but hopefully it was watchable.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're gonna kind of after we
need
sign
our
off,
checklist, and we didn't have a checklist this morning.
We messed that up, so we're gonna. Yeah, it's a little three-ring circuit. So we'll definitely get this sorted by the next time. We say that every time, but we will. And that was a pretty simple thing. I didn't know. I was trying to think of something to do that we could do that would be easy.
Well, YouTube had to go and change their software from last time to this too.
That was annoying. So
you know, we had it all set up from last time. It's a good thing we didn't do a video on that.
Maybe we can work on the 356 next time or something. We
yeah.
On the 356.
We got lots of stuff for you guys.
We got lots of stuff to do.
So,
all right.
Yep, and just, let us know what kind of content you want to see.
Oh, Jack, so your 991 is white with a blue interior. Oh, I bet that's pretty. Yeah.
Yep.
We have a friend who has a 911, it's a 911R that's white with blue stripes on it, and it's really pretty. So, more on that later, but that's a beautiful car.
All right.
Oh, Jerry.
Glad you enjoyed the stream. That's great, Jerry. Glad to have you online.
Yeah. So
do we have any other questions?
Yeah, do we have anything else? We can wrap it up.
We got to go to a really cool place this afternoon, and we're going to fill you in on it very shortly.
And we want to do a little video on this setup too.
Right.
Yeah. So,
and you guys can decide whether or not to watch it or not. But we're doing it more for people that are other creators on our setup.
Yeah, trying to figure
probably
out.
Probably for us so that we remember next time.
Yeah, that's the easiest way to do it. You do
Make your own video. Okay, I need to watch my video.
I literally watched the one on the Mini last night.
Right.
I'm like, well, what is those torque specs? And I was like, gonna look it all up, and I'm like,
that's the nice thing about having it is you can go back and watch
I put it in the video, so I'll just go watch the video, so pull it up. So
Beer 30. All right. Yeah, take care, you guys.
All right, well, everybody have a great afternoon.
Right.
We try to do this live stream, every month now.
It's once a month, and I think that's enough.
And it's on Sunday, and so is it what is this, second Sunday? Second Sunday? First Sunday? What do we do?
It's the second.
The second Sunday. Okay, so.
Today's the 8th.
Yeah, so plan for that. We're doing them now once a month, just because they're kind of a bit of a setup and everything.
If we do a second one during the month, it's going to be on a Friday night. And the reason is because we want to hit, Home Built by Jeff, for example. He's like, if I'm awake, I'll be on. And I'm like, dude, it's going to be like 2 in the morning your time.
Yeah,
so,
that's the problem.
Having somebody like Home Built by Jeff would be fun to have online. And so we'll need to do that like on a Friday night.
Yeah, so we'll probably, if we do add another time, it'll be another day, it'll be at a different time. So we can pick up different people. So, alright, well, okay. Well, everybody, have a great afternoon, and I guess safe travels.
Safe travels.
Safe travels. Bye.
Bye.